Hey, imagine this crazy mess. This pushy neighborhood lady wrecked my trash can 57 times with her fancy $60,000 big SUV, so I swapped it for one made of super strong concrete and watched her wreck her own car instead. What started as early morning? Smash-ups ended with crime charges, a $12,000 deal to fix things, and one big, costly lesson about picking the wrong neighbor to pick on. Okay, picture this. The loud snap of plastic breaking rings through the quiet dawn, followed by the scrape of metal on road as a shiny white big SUV zooms off, leaving my garbage tossed like party bits all over the driveway again. But here's the deal with bullies. They never think their targets will fight back with real solid proof. By the time I finished, this bossy rule checker had smashed her own car, showed a $47,000 sneaky money grab, and learned the tough way that some neighbors won't get scared. By notepads and pretend power. For real, what would you do if your neighbor was basically playing smash car games with your stuff every single morning? Drop a comment and let me know where you're watching from. I want to see if this kind of neighborhood group craziness is happening in your town, too. Let me go back and tell you how this whole trouble started. My name is Marcus Holloway. I'm 45 and I've been a wire fixer for 22 years. Lately split from my wife, fighting for shared care of my two teens, Emma, 16, and Tyler, 14. We live in Pinewood Gardens, one of those same-looking group neighborhoods in outside town, Ohio, where everyone's grass has to be exactly 2.5 inches tall and mailboxes come in 3 okay colors. I bought the corner spot house 3 years ago right after the split papers were signed. Figured it'd be a new beginning. You know, the kids could have their own rooms, good schools, safe area. What I didn't plan on was dealing with Brenda Whitmore, a 52-year-old lady alone after her hubby died, who made herself the area's rule checker, a title that doesn't really exist in our group rules, by the way. Brenda drives a shiny white big SUV that's bigger than some small homes. She moved in about 3 years back after her hubby passed. No kids, stopped working from running a bank in town. The lady knows every group rule by heart and treats our monthly. Pays like her own fun cash. She's pals with the group boss, Gerald Thornfield, which basically makes her untouchable. Now here's where spot becomes key. My corner spot means the garbage pickup needs me to put my bin near the street every Tuesday morning. City rule says within 3 feet of the edge, which puts it right at the side where Brenda takes her daily fast walk at exactly 6:15 a.m. The first mess happened on a Tuesday in September, second week of school. I'm getting the kids ready, coffee making, that usual rumble of the garbage truck still 20 minutes away, then crack the sound of plastic popping like a shot. I rush outside to find my trash can smashed, garbage tossed across my driveway like someone blew up a party bomb full of banana skins and coffee bits. There's Brenda backing up her big SUV, rolling down her window with this pretend worried look. "Oh my," she says, not a bit real in her voice. "These streets are just so skinny. I hope you weren't too stuck to that old thing." Old thing. I'd bought it the week before for $23 at the home store, but I stayed calm. Figured it was a mistake. Spent 20 minutes picking up wet cereal boxes and coffee filters while the smell of truck smoke hung in the morning air. Emma and Tyler watched from the front window, embarrassed their dad was crawling around the driveway in his sleep clothes. That first week, it happened 3 more times. Same way, 6:15 exact. That rumble of her big engine, the yucky crunch of plastic hitting metal, then quiet as she drove away. By Friday, I was getting doubtful. By the next Tuesday, I knew it was on purpose. Mrs. Olivia, my old neighbor across the street, confirmed what I thought. She takes the long way around on purpose, she told me in her careful words. Plenty of room on other side, but she drives close to your can every time. I tried talking sense with Brenda first, caught her on the walk during one of her afternoon checks. Hey, about the trash can stuff. But she cut me off with this super sweet smile. "Marcus, I get you're new to group living. These streets were made for normal-sized cars, not big containers blocking car flow. Maybe you should think about placement time changes. Placement time changes like there's some magic hour when the garbage truck doesn't need the can at the edge." That night, I started checking land rights, group rules, town laws. Turns out, trash cans put on public way still count as personal stuff. More key, our group has no special rules about placement time or materials, just that they can't be seen from the street except on pickup day. By month's end, I'd swapped 4 trash cans at $92 total. The kids were getting worried about the daily drama, and my care checker was noting about area steady issues. Something had to change. That's when the grin started. Brenda began making eye look during her morning smash runs, this little happy smile that said she knew exactly what she was doing. Game on. 2 weeks into October, Brenda upped from stuff wreck to mind war. I came home from a work spot to find an official letter waiting, the kind that makes your tummy drop before you even open. The thick paper felt costly between my fingers, and the smell of fresh print ink told me this wasn't some copy letter she'd been holding. Wrong trash spot placement making car danger, it read in fancy law words that would make a law helper proud. Section 4.7.3, no block of car flowways. The deadline, 72 hours to fix break or face $50 in daily fines. She'd clearly rushed this through the system while the board was still shaking from my proof at the last meet. Here's where my years of fixing wire rules helped. When something doesn't add up, you dig deeper. That evening, I jumped into town law, like I was hunting a short wire. After 3 hours of matching city rules with area laws, I hit gold. The city rule clearly needs trash placement within 3 feet of the edge on pickup day. Morkey, group power ends at the landline. They literally can't rule public way. I remembered reading about a like case online where a homeowner in California beat their group using this exact fight. I spent the weekend building my guard like I was prepping for the wire fixer test all over again. Door cam set perfect to catch the morning way. $47 for mind piece. Pro measure confirming my spot followed. All city needs. Even got Mrs. Olivia to give a written note, though her hands shook a bit as she signed. I don't want trouble, she whispered. But this isn't right. Meanwhile, Brenda was busy playing online judge. She filled the neighbor app with posts about careless homeowners risking kids and dangerous corner blocks, forcing good drivers into coming. Cars. The comment part became a fight field between her 3 loyal backers and everyone else who thought she'd totally lost touch with real. Then came the twist that showed just how worried she was getting. A pal at City Hall, Dave, works in the OK office. We've done wire work together, called me Tuesday morning with fun news. The city had got 4 separate gripes about my dangerous corner, each claiming different sea views, but clearly written by the same person. The time mark showed them all. Sent within 15 minutes at 2:47 a.m. pro checker work. This was not random, Marcus. Dave laughed over the phone. Either your area has a bunch of no-sleep folks with same writing or somebody's working extra to build a case against you. By Thursday's board meet, I'd put together a folder thick enough to choke a horse. The community spot smelled like strong, rug cleaner, and years of boring town meets. 12 homeowners showed up, a record crowd that had Boss Thornfield nervously fixing his tie every 30 seconds. Brenda sat at the board table wearing a navy jacket that screamed, "I mean business." But I noticed the slight shake in her hands when she reached for her water glass. She knew what was coming. When they called for old business, I stood up with my proof. I'd like to address the break notice about trash can placement. The bright lights buzzed overhead as the room went super quiet. I read the city rule aloud. Word for word, showed my measure results proving perfect follow. The top grass was casually mentioning my talk with Amanda Sterling, a land rights lawyer who'd handled lots of group cases. She found the picky rule use pattern specially fun, I added, watching Brenda's face go pale. Boss Thornfield cleared his throat 3 times before talking. Well, this needs more check. We'll put this aside pending more think, meaning they had nothing and all knew it. But Brenda wasn't done. As we left, she trapped me in the parking lot under the buzzing guard lights. Here's where she really showed her true ways. "You think you're so smart?" she hissed loud enough for the dozen home owners still chatting nearby to hear every word. "People like you come into good areas and think rules don't apply. Well, I've got news for you. This is just the start. Mrs. Rodriguez from Maple Street actually gasped. Jim Torres, our fix guy, suddenly found his keys super fun. The mean undertones, hung in the wet October air like smoke from a house fire, obvious to everyone there. My phone, set casual in my shirt pocket, caught every mean word. That night, Emma asked why the mean lady hated us so much. Tyler wanted to know if we'd to move again. I tucked them into bed, promising everything would work out. But privately, I was figuring the cost of this war. 3 swap trash cans, 14 hours of proof, lawyer talk fees growing. But something had shifted in the community. Other homeowners were whispering about board overdue and asking hard questions about picky rule use. Brenda's parking lot blow up had showed what many thought this wasn't about car safe or area rules. It was about power control and putting folks she didn't like in their place. The next morning brought a telling change. Instead of her usual hard smash way, Brenda drove past, my trash can at slow speed, studying it like a leader planning her next attack. The way was changing, which meant bigger trouble was coming. November hit Pinewood Gardens like a cold face slap, and Brenda hit back even harder. While I was cheering myself on winning round 1, she was busy using every hidden group rule she could find. The lady had clearly spent weeks looking through our area guides like a court fighter building a big case. The attack came in waves. First, a break notice about my grass height, apparently 2.75 inches, over the 2.5-inch max by a bad quarter-inch. Then my mailbox color, which had faded from old blue to what she called Uno-K worn navy. Finally, 3 tiny rips in my window, screens that you'd need a big glass to spot. Each break carried a $50 fine with 10-day pay deadlines. The kicker, I spent a whole Saturday afternoon walking the area with a measure tape and camera, noting same breaks on 14 other spots. Gerald Thornfield's grass was pushing 3 inches. Mrs. Patterson's mailbox had faded to roughly the same shade as mine. Half the houses on Maple Street had screen hurt from the summer ice storm, but somehow only my breaks got official eyes. While Brenda was playing rule fighter, I was having coffee with Dale Kowalski at the home store's worker desk. Dale's been pouring strong mix for 23 years, and when I mentioned my trash can troubles, his old face broke into a knowing grin. "You know," he said, stirring sugar into his coffee with a paint stick, "there's nothing in city rules about what stuff you can use for trash holders. Plastic, metal, strong mix. As long as it holds garbage and fits the size needs, you're good." That talk planted a seed that would grow into Brenda's worst dream. 60 pounds of strong mix, metal bars for extra strong, and a smart change to a normal plastic outside. Total cost $47 versus the $350 I was facing in growing fines and swap cans. But first, I had to deal with her bug push. I spent Tuesday evening making a full photo note of every break in our area. Wednesday morning, I filed a formal gripe with the group board about picky and unfair rule use ways. Here's something I learned from handling wire OKs for 2 decades. Office folks hate when you use their own systems against them. My gripe forced the board to either use rules same across all spots or admit they were targeting me special. Neither choice worked for Brenda. The real twist came when I started checking the kinds of her break targets. Over the past year, Brenda had given 67 break notices. 49 went to single parents, old folks, or different groups. Only 18 targeted married pairs or longtime homeowners. The way was so obvious it practically yelled suit. I remembered reading about fair home act breaks and group rule unfair can start government checks. The thought of Brenda explaining her ticket ways to a rights lawyer made me smile for the first time in weeks. Friday afternoon, I started my weekend strong mix project. Emma and Tyler thought it was funny, helping me mix cement in the garage, while old rock played on my paint-spotted radio. The smell of setting strong mix brought back remembers of helping my dad pour our basement floor 30 years ago. That special sharp scent that meant something lasting was being made. The building was simple but good. Empty bottom part for weight spread, drain holes kept for work. Outside looked same as every other trash can on the block. From outside, it looked totally normal. Inside, 60 pounds of metal-strong cement waited to teach Brenda a lesson about things that don't move. Monday morning, I put my newly strong trash can in exactly the same spot as always. 6:15 came right on time, along with the rumble of Brenda's big engine. But this time, something was different. Her come was slower, more careful. She'd clearly noticed the can looked same, but somehow felt doubtful. The first hit came at about 15 miles per hour, her usual smash speed. The sound was totally different. Instead of that yucky crunch of breaking plastic, there was a solid thump followed by the squeal of metal on strong mix. Her big SUV's step board bent like thin foil while my trash can sat there looking a bit mad. I watched through my kitchen window. Coffee mug warm against my hands as Brenda sat in her SUV for a full 30 seconds. Clearly puzzled by what just happened, she revved the engine and tried again from a different side. Same result. More hurt to her car, zero hurt to my strong fort. The beauty of the whole setup was its complete okay. No city rules broken, no group rules smashed, just a homeowner upgrading his trash holder with better stuff. If she wanted to keep smashing it, that was her choice and her cover claim to file. Over the next week, Brenda made more and more worried tries to hurt my strong creation. Each hit left new scratches and dents on her shiny, white big SUV, while my can stayed smugly whole. The funny was yummy. Her own hard ways were wrecking the very car she used as a weapon. By Friday, her SUV showed nearly $800 in built hurt. Mine showed a few marks that made it look more real. The area was starting to talk, and for once Brenda wasn't running the tail. By mid-November, Brenda had changed from area busybody into full private checker. The lady was so fixed on my trash can that she'd probably dreamed about it in charts and plot ideas. I'd catch sights of her shiny white big SUV, now with growing dents and scratches, driving past my house at odd times, like some outside town stalker. The first sign of her checker work came on a Tuesday morning when Mrs. Olivia called, her voice barely above a whisper. "Marcus, that woman was in your driveway last night with a light and some kind of measure." I watched from my bedroom window. "She was trying to weigh your trash can." I had to laugh at the mind picture. Brenda, probably in her navy jacket and sensible shoes, sneaking around my spot at midnight with a bath measure, trying to solve the mystery of the unbreakable trash holder. The lady needed a hobby that didn't include sneaking. Her checking grew. Through the week, Jim Torres, our fix guy, mentioned she'd trapped him at the tool store, asking hard about strong mix buys and which folks had got unusual stuff lately. She'd even started following my online spots, looking for build hints in my Facebook posts about weekend projects. The twist that really showed her worry came when she tried to use city office again. Thursday afternoon, a building checker knocked on my door. A tired-looking guy named Pete, who clearly had better things to do than check trash cans. "Ma'am filed a gripe about possible build rule breaks," he explained, checking boxes on his noteboard with the fun of someone filling tax forms. Something about UNOK strong mix buildings on home land. I walked Pete around to the trash can where he spent about 30 seconds looking before shaking his head. "It's a garbage holder, not a base. No OKs needed, no breaks here. Honestly, I've seen folks build whole sheds without this much look." But Brenda wasn't done with her official bug push. The next week brought a notice from the group wanting quick entry for rule check of my outside changes. The letter, clearly written by Brenda and stamped by Boss Thornfield, claimed they needed to look at my outside changes for safe breaks. This is where my check into land rights helped. I'd spent hours reading about guard from search and group power limits after that first break notice. The big case was Narrett versus Lakeside Village, where courts ruled that groups can't do hunt, searches on private land without special reason or emergency. My answer was nice but firm. No private land entry without a court order or real emergency. If they wanted to check my rule okay trash holder, They could look from the public walk like everyone else. The smell of Brenda's mad was almost as good as fresh, strong mix. Meanwhile, her car was becoming a moving ad for the strong of metal strong cement. Each morning brought new hit tries, and each try left fresh hurt on her big SUV. The step board now hung at a slant like a broken wing. Her front bumper had web cracks, and one front light case had got a worrying rattle. The area was starting to notice. During my Saturday morning coffee run, I heard 3 different talks about that crazy lady who keeps hitting the same trash can. Mrs. Rodriguez had started timing Brenda's morning way, while the teen kids on Elm Street had clearly started a bet. Pool on daily hit ends. Emma found the whole thing at same time funny and embarrassing. "Dad, kids at school are asking if we're the family with the strong can lady," she told me over dinner. I don't know whether to hide or take credit for having the coolest payback tale in the school. Tyler, ever useful, wanted to know if we could sell tickets to the morning fun. "For real, Dad, we could charge $5 and fund my school just from neighbors wanting front seats to the Smash show." The real step forward came when Patricia Lopez, the only sensible board member, pulled me aside after an area gathering. In quiet tones near the Community Spots coffee place, she shared news that changed all. "Marcus, you need to know Brenda's been having private meets with Gerald about stronger rule power. She wants the board to okay spot checks, stuff limits, even worker pass checks for home projects. But Patricia's biggest show was money. She's also been pushing hard for okay of fixed deals with some company I've never heard. Every time we talk budget, she has these detailed plans ready, like she's been setting for months. That night, I started a different kind of check. If Brenda was this fixed on controlling area projects and pushing special workers, maybe her reason wasn't just power. Maybe it was money. Public records are amazing when you know where to look, and town deal files tell fun tales about who gets paid for what. By Sunday evening, I'd uncovered something that made her trash can fix look like small stuff. Brenda. Whitmore wasn't just a control nut with too much time. She was running a trick, and my strong fort had by chance threatened her whole work. Sunday night check times used to be for helping Emma with her past papers or Tyler with number homework. This special evening, I was deep in the city's public deal files, following a guess that Patricia Lopez's warn had planted in my brain like a splinter. I'd started simple, just searching for any new business signs with the name Whitmore. What I found made me set down my coffee and lean closer to the screen. Whitmore Build LLC, made 6 months ago, listed Brenda Whitmore as 40% owner and her hubby Richard as boss. The timeline made my skin crawl. Company made in May, first group. Fixed deal bid in July, bug push against me starting in early September. The dots linked themselves with sharp care. I spent the next 2 hours diving deeper into public records, and what I found would have made a money checker cry with joy. Over the past 4 months, Whitmore Build had been given 7 different fix deals by our group board. Grass edge, walk fix, community spot touch-ups, playground care, $20,400 in total work. The bidways told the real tale. On every single deal, Whitmore Build had underbid the others by exactly $50 to $100. Not enough to seem doubtful, but just enough to promise pick. It was like watching someone play cards with marked ones, tech okay moves, but clearly fixed. Here's what really made my wire fixer's brain click into high. Brenda had voted to okay every single one of those deals. 7 votes, 7 okays, 7 pays to her family business. The clash of interest was so clear it practically had bright signs around it. I remembered reading about duty breaks during my earlier law check. Board folks must tell any money ties in seller deals. Not doing so breaks state no-profit company law and opens to both home suits and crime trick charges. The proof was sitting right there in digital black and white. Business sign docs, group meet notes, deal give records, bank put slips from the group's monthly words. Brenda had been using her board spot to send community pays straight into her family's bank. But the timeline showed something even more bad. My first nice talk with Brenda about the trash can messes. September 15th, first question of fixed budget at the monthly board meet. September 3rd, she'd started her bug push exactly 12 days after I'd nicely asked why we were spending so much on basic fixes. My strong trash can hadn't just been blocking her morning fast walk. It had been guarding proof of planned theft from 127 homeowners. The size of possible breaks made my head spin. Home blame for money bad care, crime open for trick, auto kick from the board upon proven clash of interest. This wasn't just about land rights anymore. It was about bad, sneaky take, and a lady worried enough to wreck proof that she'd wage mind war against anyone who threatened her plan. I printed all, made digital copies on 3 separate online saves, and right away emailed the full file to lawyer Amanda Sterling with a note. Urgent check asked crime possible. The power way had just shifted fully. Brenda thought she was fighting some split wire fixer over a trash can spot. What she was really facing was show of a trick plan that could land her in government jail and broke her family. Tuesday morning, I watched from my kitchen window as she made her usual hit try with my strong fort. Her big SUV now showed over $1,200 in built hurt, while my trash can sat there like an unmovable sign to her dumb. But for the first time since this whole mess started, I wasn't thinking about trash cans or group rules or morning smash shows. I was thinking about fair, community guard, and the sweet good of watching a bully find that their targets sometimes bite back harder than thought. The war was about to start for real. Tuesday evening, my garage changed from a weekend work spot into a fight room that would have made big plan makers proud. I'd cleared the work tables, set up fold tables, and put 5 mixed chairs in a circle around the proof board I'd built, using build paper and red string like something from a crime show. The main team gathered by 7:00 p.m. exact. Mrs. Olivia came first, holding a hot drink holder of flower tea and looking nervously set. Jim Torres showed up, still in his fixed clothes, tool belt clanging with each step. Patricia Lopez brought a stack of group money docs she'd borrowed from the board files. Dale Kowalski came last, carrying a box of sweet rings and grinning like we were planning a surprise party instead of showing town bad. "All right," I said, taping the final time chart to the garage wall. "Here's what we're dealing with." The proof layout looked like something from a government check. $23,000 in doubtful deals, 7 separate clash of interest breaks, 47 noted bug messes, and one more and more hurt big SUV serving as moving proof of Brenda's falling mind state. Patricia whistled low when she saw the money check. I knew something felt wrong about those deals, but I never thought it was this planned. Every time I questioned the costs, Brenda had these detailed reasons ready like she'd practiced them. Dale looked at the car hurt pics with pro-interest. "That bumper is going to cost at least $2,000 to fix right. The line issues alone will eat through tires like crazy. Your strong cans, turning her big SUV into a very costly life lesson." We spent the next hour setting our multi-hit attack plan. Jim would watch Brenda's doings and note any payback tries. Mrs. Olivia would run the door-to-door push to gather neighbor back. Patricia would work the inside game, building board folks agree for a money check. Dale would serve as our tech helper on any build-tied proof. The law plan needed careful run. Amanda Sterling had confirmed we had solid cases for bug, money trick, and board bad due, but time would be key. File too early and Brenda might wreck proof. Wait too long and she could finish whatever hide she was surely planning. I'd learned something big from 22 years of wire trouble fix. Hard issues need layered fixes. Fighting group over with just land rights fights is like trying to fix a short wire by swapping one safe. You need to fix the whole system. Our way would hit from 4 sides at once. Law push through crime gripes and home suits. Social push through community setting and sign drives. Leader push through news eyes and town watch. Money push through check asks and deal stops. The community setting step started Wednesday morning. Armed with pro-show stuff and can't argue proof, I began visiting every house in Pinewood Gardens. The answer was huge. 89 signs backing land rights, 34 wanting quick money checks, and 12 offering to talk at the coming board meet. Mrs. Rodriguez from Maple Street nearly shut her door before I could explain. 5 minutes later, she was mad signing. The sign and muttering words that probably weren't nice to Brenda's ways. "That lady tried to fine me for having my garbage can out 15 minutes early," she fumed. 15 minutes? Like the garbage police were timing us with stopwatches. The against mapping showed fun ways. Brenda's hardbackers were only longtime homeowners who'd got good from picky rule use. The fence sitters were mostly new folks scared of house price hits or board payback. Everyone else was ready to see some answer. News prep took 3 days of careful planning. Channel 7's check unit knew town bad tales, and teller Sarah Kim had covered like group messes across the big area. The news kit included pro-time graphs, expert law thoughts, and 12 minutes of cut video showing Brenda's growing hit tries. The online push blew up faster than I'd thought. The Pinewood Gardens Clear Group Facebook grew to 67 members in 4 days, with neighbors sharing their own tales of picky use, bug, and money weird. Someone posted a fast video of Brenda's morning way set to fun music that went big through the outside town net. Meanwhile, my strong trash can kept serving as both proof and fun. Thursday morning brought hit try number 53, resulting in a front light case that now dangled like a broken tooth. The area kids had started gathering at bus stops early just to see the daily smash show. Emma reported that her pals at school were calling our house the place with the unbreakable trash can. Tyler had started charging classmates 50 cents each to see the video bunch on his phone. The tale was spreading beyond our community faster than talk at a church food share. By Sunday evening, everything was set. Board meets planned for Tuesday night. News talk set for Wednesday morning. Crime gripes ready for Thursday filing. 118 folks set to come to the face, with 17 planning to speak during public talk. The team was built, the proof was bullet safe, and Brenda had no idea what was coming. Time to bring down the hit. The weekend before our planned board meet surprise, Brenda went totally off the tracks. Worry has a special smell like burnt coffee and panic sweat, and it was practically coming from her every move. She'd clearly felt the walls closing because her bug push upped from annoying to maybe crime faster than her big SUV could hit my strong fort. Saturday night, I was woken sharp by the hiss of spray paint. Through my bedroom window, I could see a dark figure bent beside my trash can, lit by the move sensor lights. By the time I'd grabbed my phone and stumbled outside, they were gone, leaving behind newbie paint words that spelled move in bright orange letters across the strong surface. The nice thing about spray paint on strong mix, it washes off with pressure in about 30 seconds. The nice thing about guard cameras, they tape all in sharp view, including car plate numbers of shiny white big SUVs parked 3 houses down during the mess. Monday brought a new level of bug. A nameless gripe to the gas company claimed I'd been doing doubtful digging that might hurt underlines. The utility checker who showed up was sorry but full, spending 2 hours with fine tools before confirming what I knew. No digging, no breaks, no issues. Honestly, he told me, loading his gear back into the truck. Whoever called this in either has serious C problems or serious mind problems. There's no digging anywhere on your spot. The twist that showed Brenda's true worry came Tuesday morning. Jim Torres found me at the tool store, his old face serious with care. "Marcus, she hired a private guard company to watch your house. Riverside Guard. I know the owner's cousin. $200 a day for watch on a trash can fight." The lady's lost her mind. But Brenda's watch worked both ways. My upgraded guard system had caught her drive-by checks, her midnight photo times, and her more and more weird way patterns. The lady was falling apart faster than a cheap long wire, and every moment was being noted for later. Wednesday brought the find that made me really mad. Emma came home from school upset, having heard Brenda talking to another parent about dangerous area pulls and wrong examples for community kids. The mean undertones weren't hidden, and the meanings for my care spot were crystal clear. That evening, I hired Beth Morrison, a stopped police checker who knew bug checks. For $200 a day, I could have pro note of Brenda's following ways. Plus, someone with law force past to talk about up patterns and risk check. The break tries grew through the week. Someone poured what looked like battery sour on my strong trash can. It left a small mark but no build hurt. Nameless gripes flooded the city about everything from my grass height to my wire work okays. Fake bad reviews showed on my business online spot faster than I could mark them for take. But the most shocking find came Friday evening. Tyler was working on his bike in the driveway when he found something unusual stuck to my work trucks, under part. A small black thing with blinking lights and magnet hold. "Dad," he called out, his voice tight with care. "What's this thing stuck under your truck? Location tracker? Pro-kind? Probably cost $300. Definitely wrong when put without yes." I photoed it from every side before carefully taking it off and driving straight to the police spot. Officer Derek Martinez took the report with the tired look of someone who'd seen this kind of up before. "Mr. Holloway, this moves beyond area fights into crime area. Wrong watch following, bug we're building a case file that could result in serious charges." The cover trick side grew at same time. Brenda had filed a $3,200 claim for road danger hurt, claiming her hit happened on a city street rather than my spot. The problem was my door cam video, which clearly showed on purpose, targeting of my trash can from many sides over weeks. When the cover checker's checker called for a talk, I was ready with a full proof pack. 53 noted hit tries, C notes, video bunch, and pro check of the hurt ways. The checker's reaction was fast and set. "Ma'am, this isn't road danger hurt. This is on purpose stuff wreck with a costly car. We're saying no to the claim and sending the case to our trick unit for crime check." The community push was building like steam in a pressure pot. Our Facebook group had grown to 94 members, sharing more and more wild tales of Brenda's ways. Mrs. Patterson reported bug about her flower bushes. The Johnsons on Oak Street had got break notices for kids' walk chalk art. Even Gerald Thornfield was quietly cutting from her doings. Saturday morning brought hit try 57, this time resulting in a fully off bumper that Brenda had to get from my driveway. The sight of her crawling around in her business clothes, gathering plastic bits while neighbors watched from windows, would have been funny if it wasn't so sad. By Sunday evening, the proof bunch was done. Crime ways noted, C notes official, money trick showed, community team set. Tuesday's board meet would be less of a face and more of a public end. Brenda just didn't know it yet. Monday morning, 12 hours before our planned board meet showdown, Brenda made her most worried move. Yet, Gerald Thornfield called an emergency closed door time to address what he called growing blame worries and community safe issues. The man's voice on my voicemail sounded like he'd been chewing rocks and worry for breakfast. The emergency meet was classic hurt control 3 board folks huddled in the community spot office while Prescott and Partners lawyer Harold Mastersonson billed $400 an hour to figure how deep in law quicksand they'd stepped. Through the covers, I could see lively hand moves and what looked like Brenda waving docs like give up flags. Patricia Lopez texted me updates from inside the meet. "Brenda's claiming you've made terror threats, wants emergency powers to grab dangerous changes. Harold looks like he'd rather be guarding bad killers." The Hyde try was as clumsy as Brenda's morning hit ways. Someone had backdated clash of interest tell forms for Whitmore build, but the digital time marks on the email holder told a different tale. You can't backmake good rule follow, especially when the first deal votes are taped in public meet notes. Meanwhile, the cover check was picking speed faster than Brenda's big SUV hitting my strong fort. State checker Maria Santos had asked for group money records, board meet notes, and all talk between Brenda and the group's cover holder. The paper path was about as hidden as a train wreck in slow move. Tuesday afternoon brought the most shocking show yet. Richard Whitmore, Brenda's hubby, called me straight something that took more brave than I'd thought from a guy who'd been watching his wife wreck their life savings one hit at a time. "Marcus," his voice barely above a whisper. "This has to stop. She spent $8,000 on lawyers, watch, and car fixes. Our cover got stopped. The business is facing deal stops. I need to know what would it take to make this go away. I almost felt sorry for the guy. Almost. Richard, your wife followed my family, wrecked my spot. Did cover trick and sneaky took from 127 homeowners. This isn't going away with a sorry and a check. The twist that showed just how worried they'd become came 2 hours before the board meet. Brenda filed an emergency no-contact order ask based on totally made-proof fake threat voicemails, changed pics of mad faces, and C-notes from folks who didn't exist. The ask was so badly made that Judge Patricia Williams threw it out without even setting a hearing. Miss Whitmore, these tapes are clearly changed. These pics are obviously set, and these C's seem made up. Filing fake proof is court hate. Think this your only warn. But Brenda's law troubles were growing faster than her hit tries. The state cover boss had set checker Maria Santos to build a crime trick case. The area lawyer's office was checking bug and following charges. The tax folks had got copies of all money docs showing hidden money from the build deals. As 6 p.m. came, the community spot parking lot filled up like busy shop day at tech store. Cars lined both sides of Maple Street with neighbors walking from 3 blocks away carrying lawn chairs and fold signs. Channel 7's news van pulled up exactly at 5:30, followed by Channel 12 and the weekly teller who'd been following our tail. Inside the meat room, you could cut the tight with a strong saw. 118 folks packed into a space made for 40 with extra crowds, standing along walls and spilling into the hall. The smell of worry sweat mixed with strong coffee made an air thick, enough to chew. Brenda came fashion late, sided by Harold Mastersonson and looking like she'd rather be anywhere else on earth. Her usual navy jacket had been swapped with funeral black, and the shake in her hands was seen from across the room. Gerald Thornfield kept fixing his tie like a rope was tightening around his neck. The try scare backfired big. Mastersonson's opening words about silly gripes and mess-making folks was cut by Mrs. Olivia standing up with her stack of C-notes. "Excuse me," she said in her careful words, "but which one of us has been doing cover trick and sneaky taking money?" The room blew up in claps and nervous laughs. 17 neighbors had prepped to speak during public talk, each armed with notes of Brenda's bug, money weird, or picky rule ways. The proof bunch filled 3 bank boxes and included everything from hit videos to deal check to crime gripe gets. But the real big boom was yet to come. At exactly 6:45, as Brenda was trying to push away questions about the Whitmore build deals, Officer Derek Martinez walked through the community spot doors carrying an official-looking folder. "Sorry to cut in," he said to the suddenly quiet room, "but I have a paper to give about cover trick and following charges." The color left Brenda's face faster than cool stuff from her hurt big SUV. Harold Mastersonson right away began whispering urgent law advice, while Gerald Thornfield looked like he was having chest hurts. Game over. Check and win. Time for the public end. The community spot had never seen anything like it. 127 folks. Literally every homeowner in Pinewood Gardens packed into a room made for maybe 40 people, with another 15 news folks setting up cameras like this was a leader debate. The air cool couldn't keep up with the body heat, and the bright lights buzzed overhead like mad bees sensing blood in the water. I'd put myself smart in the 3rd row, sided by Mrs. Olivia and Jim Torres with my strong trash can wheeled in, as showy and sitting proud beside the speak spot. The meaning wasn't hidden. That 60-pound sign to her dumb had become the star-C in what was about to happen. Brenda sat at the board table looking like she'd rather be getting a tooth pull. Without numb. Her usual navy jacket had been swapped with funeral black, and every few seconds she'd glance toward the out, like a trapped animal figuring runways. Harold Masterson whispered urgent law advice in her ear, while Gerald Thornfield sweated through, his shirt like a man facing his own end. Officer Martinez's come with that paper folder had changed all. The room fell quiet except for the machine buzz of news cameras and the nervous tapping of Brenda's pen against the table. A fast tap that sounded like code for help me. Gerald called for order with a voice that cracked like a teen's. "We'll now hear public talks about recent area worries." I stood up first, carrying my show boards like a court fighter going to the deciders. The room was so quiet you could hear the buzz of the out-sign power. "Ladies and guys," I began, my voice carrying easy through the packed space. "This isn't about trash cans. This isn't about group rules or land rights or area rules. This is about answer, clear, and stopping bad before it wrecks our area." I walked them through the timeline step by step. 57 noted hit tries, each one taped, in high clear. The location tracker wrong put on my car. The spray paint wreck caught on guard cameras. The fake cover claims that made big crime trick. But the real showstopper was the money show. Using a borrowed light thrower, I showed the deal check that proved $23,400 sent from Community Pays straight into Brenda's family business account. "Every month, you've been paying higher fees to fund Mrs. Whitmore's personal build company," I said, watching jaws drop through the crowd. 7 deals, 7 hidden clashes of interest, 7 breaks of state no-profit law. The video bunch played next 12 minutes of Brenda's best hits, set to a sound of crunching plastic and scraping metal. The gasps and nervous laughs from the crowd gave perfect along to the video of her more and more worried hit tries. Then came the mic drop moment I'd been practicing for weeks. "Mrs. Whitmore," I said, turning to face her straight while the cameras rolled. "You've spent $3,400 on lawyers, wrecked your $60,000 car, did cover trick, and followed my family over a $23 trash can. But the real crime is the $47,000 you've stolen from this community through your family's build company." The room blew up. Neighbors who'd been grumbling about rising group fees suddenly got where their money had gone. Mrs. Rodriguez stood up shouting in fast words that probably weren't nice to Brenda's character. The teens from Elm Street actually started clapping, like they were at a show. Brenda's answer was everything I'd hoped for and more. She shot up from her chair like a surprise toy, her carefully built calm finally cracking under the push. "This is bug!" she screamed, her voice reaching highs that probably bothered dogs 3 blocks away. "These people don't get house values or area rules. They come into good areas and think rules don't apply to them." The mean undertones hung in the air like smoke from a house fire. Channel 7's camera caught every word, every move, every moment of her full mind break. Mrs. Olivia actually gasped loud when Brenda pointed straight at her and shouted something about certain parts ruining the community. Harold Mastersonson tried hard to control his client, but Brenda was beyond law advice. She grabbed my proof boards, trying to tear them apart before Jim Torres and 2 other neighbors gently held her. The lady was having a full melt on live TV while Officer Martinez calmly took notes for his mess report. "I built this community," she shrieked, eye paint running down her cheeks like black tears. "I guarded house values. I kept rules high. And this is how you treat someone who gave all for area good." Gerald Thornfield called for break, but nobody was leaving. This was better than real TV, more wild than a soap show, and more good than watching your worst foe step on a rake. Patricia Lopez stood up amid the mess and made the move that everyone was waiting for. I moved for the quick stop of Brenda Whitmore from the board, waiting crime check and money look. The vote was all yes 4-0, with Brenda not voting while cuffed to Officer Martinez's chair. Fair served strong cold with a side of public shame. The after unfolded like falling blocks in perfect line. Within 48 hours of the board meet melt, Brenda's world fell faster than her big SUV hold system under repeated strong hits. Tuesday morning brought her formal quit, led her 2 lines of bitter words, claiming bad work spot and personal attacks. By Thursday, the area lawyer had filed cover trick charges carrying up to 6 months jail time and $5,000 in fines. Her cover OK was taken Friday afternoon, followed by the stop of Whitmore Build's worker OK. The money reckoning was quick and no mercy. Our emergency group check done by Patterson and Partners Money Checkers got back $47,000 in overpays and doubtful deals. Every homeowner got a $170 payback check by holiday, the sweetest gift Pinewood Gardens had ever seen. Richard Whitmore called me one last time, his voice empty with lose. "The home deal check is in the mail," he said quiet. 12,500 as agreed. Brenda wanted me to tell you she's moving to Warm Spot to live with her sister. I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. But then I remembered the location tracker, the fake cover claims, and the months of bug my family had stood. Some lessons come costly, and this one cost them all. The running change was great. Patricia Lopez won the special pick. For board boss by all yes vote, running on clear and community join. The new board started clash of interest tell needs, monthly money reports, and public worker bidways that would make town governments jealous. Our first community project under the changed lead was the Playground Fix, funded fully by Got Back, sneaky money. Watching Emma and Tyler help design the new stuff alongside neighbors who'd once whispered about our mess family felt like feeling wind wrapped in useful grow. The law example spread beyond our area. Holloway versus Pinewood Gardens Group was named in 12 later land rights cases across Ohio. The state makers passed the Group Answer Act needing money tell and check ways that cover checkers called the Gold Rule for Town Watch. Channel 7's Check Series won an area award for showing outside town bad. And teller Sarah Kim still calls me sometimes for expert words on group change laws. The first hit videos have been seen over 200,000 times on video. Spot. Firing like fight moves in communities from one town to another. My strong trash can became an area legend. We moved it to the community spot hall as a forever show, complete with a metal sign reading Land Rights Guarded 2023. New homeowners get the full tale during start meets and visiting workers often ask to see the famous unbreakable can that brought down a bad board. But the real win was Community Heal. The Strong Can Days Fest we started draws families from 3 nearby builds every September, featuring bounce houses, grill fights, and learn shops on homeowner rights. Last year's come topped 800 people, turning our hard into win and our fight into cheer. The school help fund I started with the Deal Cash has helped 4 students go to college so far. The Marcus Holloway Land Rights School Help puts first kids who show smart problem fix in the face of group against, basically rewarding future troublemakers who refuse to take wrong quiet. Emma and Tyler learned lessons about right fight that no school class could teach. Emma's college-ask writing about fighting bad with strong proof got her into 3 news programs. Tyler started a video channel called Outside Fair that covers group fights across the Middle West with the fun of a teen checker teller. The personal heal surprised me most. My care check got way better after the community rallied around our family. The judge noted that kids benefit from seeing parents stand up for ideas and guard family good through law ways rather than fight or give up. My wire-fixing business grew through tells from neighbors who'd seen my note skills and smart thinking. Clearly, Step Problem Fix moves well from group fights to hard wire projects. And my name for getting results the right way opened doors through the area. Sometimes little guy does beat big, but only when little guy comes ready with proof, pals. And 60 pounds of metal-strong cement. Drop a comment and share your group nightmare tale. Let's build a list of bad and help each other fight back. Hit that subscribe button if you want more tales where the small guy wins through prep, wait, and perfect time. Fair tastes sweetest when served with community back and smart problem fix. Thanks for hanging out with us on Group Tales, where the pushy ladies meet their match. If this tale had you cheering or wincing, go ahead and like the video, drop a comment with your reaction, and hit subscribe so you're ready for the next wild group tale.